Hi, this is Scotty Elcon with Selig Film News here with the team behind Plus Minus. We have director Andy Irvine, actress Ashley Spillers, and director Mark Smoot at the end there. I feel like I've seen you guys all over the place, everywhere. Are you guys sick of the festival yet?
No.
No. I'm sick, but I'm not sick of the festival.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Does the festival actually help you keep going then, since you are sickly?
It just helps you keep going in life. I am sickly too. So
Glad you
I feel like
next to
I
me.
feel like I need goals so I can get through. Otherwise, my body would just give out. But no, I'm definitely gonna keep living for the next 2 days. And then, yeah.
This is, by the way, where we do the musical chairs. After sick talk. This short surprised me. Like, I want to start there. I went into it with obviously a mindset of thinking, oh, this might going to be funny. It's going to be, ooh. And I watched it and I was amazed. I was amazed by the performance. I was also amazed that y'all keep going with it a little bit, this back and forth between you guys. Where did you guys decide, let's make it slightly serious, even though it's still got that sense of humor, that dry thought process, it's still, this is a serious thing that all relationships, at some point maybe have to go through. I think a lot of people will relate to it and the honesty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it comes from just what you just said. It's both Andy and I were drawing upon personal experiences, and in some way it was just kind of an alternate reality of like situations that like just speaking for myself that I've been in, where it's like I've said some of the things that the male character has said, but I also stopped talking at a point, and instead of expressing those anxieties about pregnancy and fatherhood and commitment to my girlfriend at the time when she's at her most vulnerable, I saved that for my therapist. But it's just like, well, what if I didn't do that? And it was kind of just imagining all the complications that going from there.
What about for you, Ashley? I mean, you have to deal with that harshness of him saying, well, I don't know if I want to keep it like that.
Right.
It is kind of the worst thought process. How did you tackle the character, I guess?
Well, I don't know, you put yourself in that situation and it's like, I don't know how you go back from a conversation like that. That's one of those, like, having that conversation with somebody would just be so, the things that he says to my character, like, that he allows himself to just sort of, like, blurt out, it's like, how do you, you can't really go back from that. It's like, I'm sorry, what? It's funny now, like, I've watched it a few times. It premiered at South by, and it's like, I've had conversations similar to that, unfortunately, with, like, people in my life. Guy, let's be honest. And I'm like, wow, like, this is a very real conversation that a lot of people have. I think a lot of people too, our generation especially, like the fear of committing to someone, and like when the real life stuff comes up, people kind of freak out, and it's like, and that's what's happening in this movie. So I don't know, I tackled it in the way I tackle any part, which is, I imagine that it's really happening to me, and if this were really happening to me, how would I react and respond to it? It wouldn't be great. But I mean, there are moments in there where I think they're trying to relate with one another. I mean, there are moments when she tries to calm down for a second and like, let's take a different approach, or like we do in life sometimes. I don't know. I rambled.
Oh, you make the whole point of the short, though, I think.
Yeah.
Andy, what is it about Ashley that, I mean, I'm guessing you had her in mind from the beginning? Was that?
Yeah, actually, we're going to make this totally different movie, which was really bad. And then the actor dropped out. Didn't really want to make it anymore. I never really want to make it in the first place. But I was, whatever. And then so we came up with this idea kind of over a weekend, and we just kept Ashley and Luke, who were in the previous movie, which Ashley was nice enough to be a part of. I felt like she was like doing like a massive favor to even do that terrible movie. And
Which
then
one?
it's just that awful short we were gonna do, but it fell through, so we did
Oh,
this
yeah.
instead.
Yeah, it was like about a threesome or
Yeah,
something.
it was. I didn't even want to mention it by name. But that's, I guess it worked out really great. It was like, I never really thought like about, I was like, oh, this is totally different for us and her. But, you know, it just seemed to be one of those like things you never think about, like a leap of faith for everyone that worked out great, I think.
Wow. How do you guys shoot? How do y'all like prep for a shoot? I mean, going, like you're saying, you had another shoot, and that when you just realized at some point, oh, we got to scrap this. How do you then start all over again? Or do you have that fear of, oh God, are we making something else that might suck? Or that sounded really bad, but you know what I mean.
No. I mean, it was pretty easy because like I was in a relationship, and like I was like feeling like a lot of crisis in that relationship, and so this is something I worried about. And so Mark and I was talking to Mark actually about that. He's like, well, we should make something about that. And then so this opportunity came up where it's like, and we never really could crack it. And so then once this other movie fell through, it was like, all right, let's try to make that work. And then just like over the course of a day, I think we were able to kind of figure out how to tell that story, because it's like, it took a little while to figure out how to deal with this situation of like, basically there's a pregnancy test and there's a result, but we're not going to reveal the result for really long, or it gets delayed. So it came about really quickly, and I feel so grateful that it turned out well, because in hindsight I was like, oh, I would never move that quickly ever again. But it was like we wrote it in like basically couple days, and then we shot it like 2 weeks later, and then that was it. Like, so it came together very, very quickly, and it worked out, luckily.
Is it weird to have something that was created and finished so quickly, yet its life is extended over so much longer of a time period, and now it's gone from South by to here, and we'll keep going? Like, is it weird to have that long life afterwards?
I always feel like any life afterwards is weird. Just because you make it for yourself, and it's like, it feels very personal. And then I always like, whenever, you're lucky enough to watch it with people, I'm like, oh yeah, I never think about this part. Like, I was working through this, or we were working through this, and we're all dealing with our own stuff, and it's kind of helpful. But then it's like the actual sharing it with other people. It's like, I always forget about that, and that I feel really exposed and terrified by it. So it's always weird. I mean, obviously super, super grateful, that it does have a life, but I find it always odd. Like, once it's done, or like, we're finished with it, it's always like, okay, cool, then it's done. Like, then we'll just put it to the side. But I always forget about the sharing part.
This one is particularly fun though, like to share, because people have such cool reactions to it and personal connect. Like, people just relate to this movie, women and men. It's like I can't tell you how many people, when they've seen it, come up and they're just like guys in particular will be like, I hate to admit that, like, I have said those things that guy said, and I'm feeling bad about it now, and like, it's just cool and women too, who've had these conversations with the men in their life, like, a lot of people really relate to it, and I think that's really, for me, that's always the coolest thing, like, for people to have a connection to something that you've done, and can look at you and who you played in the story and go, yeah, I see myself in that. Like, it's been cool.
Was there ever a last-minute idea to maybe show what the results are?
We actually had a real-life positive pregnancy test on set.
As an option.
I was
So
like, is there a baby?
Administered by a real-life pregnant woman.
I had a child.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
What?
No, like I think Tony Costello, who worked on the movie, his wife was pregnant, so we got her to get us a positive pregnancy test.
She peed on a stick
She
for
peed on a
us.
stick. Yeah, exactly.
So that way, I mean, the idea is like, I think in the back of in the back of our minds, we had an idea of how it would end. But when you're in production, it's just shoot all options, just so you have it in editing, and you can experiment and test different. It's almost I feel like this series has come up several times in the past couple of days, but it's like almost like a choose your own adventure when you're in editing room. And
Oh,
eventually,
yeah, that's a good way to talk about
you
that.
eventually settle on one. But that's how we definitely tested and explored the various places this situation could go.
I had a really weird thought when you said choose your adventure. I thought like Oregon Trail as a kid. Like, what if we put this in schools? Like, choose your adventure.
Choose what you want to say. Like
Right.
Yes, no.
when your girlfriend's worried she's pregnant.
I think it would help a lot of people. It would be very. This would be a very
Yeah,
educational piece.
Right.
So, wow, that's so cool that there was, life was created because of the set. I know it wasn't created because of the movie, but you know what I mean. Like,
That's the way I like to think about it.
you helped bring the usher in a baby. What's
Yeah.
that like?
Yeah.
What's it like being here at the festival? I'll switch away from that heavy thing. You guys have been here. You've partied the last couple of nights. You've had fun. You've seen your screenings. What are your reactions now that it's early in the morning and you're probably tired and sleeping? And someone didn't get a bath last night.
You didn't?
No. I was going to take one when I got home, but it was so late.
I think we got so sad because it was late at night.
Started thinking. Anyway, the festival, I've had a lot of fun. It's a great festival. It's like easy to maneuver, and it's to get to the theater, and everybody's so nice and just appreciative and like supportive of everybody's films. And I can't tell you how many people I've met and talked to about our screening, and then they're actually there at the screening. When they say they're gonna come, they come. That's cool. Like other filmmakers, that doesn't always happen. You're like, yeah, I'll try to make it, and it doesn't always, but people are doing it. That's cool, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think Andy and I are like we're very, we're very critical of ourselves. We're very anxious people. So the exposing yourself, the sharing the feature, that's very, I think it can be a little scary. So kind of transitioning into the shorts program, it's like we can like the anxiety is spread across the theater, like because there's so many filmmakers, and then it's also about just like I'm just excited to see this new batch of films in the shorts program. I think that's one of the coolest things about being a part of a shorts program is you just it's like you share your film, but then you get to experience 7, 8 other movies in one night, and then get to know those filmmakers, and it's always a special experience.
It is a good group of shorts too. That's a good thing.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
cool. Yeah.
the way Sarah's done all the short segments, but especially y'all's, they all have that relationship theme, and they're all done really well.
Cool.
Thank you guys for talking to me once again. I know it's been fun, and
It's always fun.
Yeah, you're fun to talk to.
thank you guys. I'm glad this is all about me now.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's the way to end it. No, I hope
How's
people.
your experience at the festival going?
I've mainly been in this dark room with you guys. It's been a lot of fun, guys.
Good.
It's not a positive test, though. But I'm just kidding. What a way to end it.
Yeah.
Terrible. No, thank you guys for being here, bringing all these films, and it's been a blast having you guys.
Yeah, thanks
and
for having us.
Thank
I hope
you.
people do get to see the short and, of course, the feature. Hopefully gets some legs and gets out there because it's funny.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, man.
Thanks for having us.
Always.
Hey, thanks.
Mark, I'll give you like a fist bump.
There we go.